2022 was certainly a year for movies. The MCU had many people disappointed with their output. Disney and Pixar's animated offerings ranged from kinda good to kinda bad. Warner Bros. Massacred their lineup and reputation. Long awaited sequels to Top Gun, Avatar, and Puss in Boots came out, and we got 3 Pinocchio movies total. This year certainly felt like a roller coaster for films, but there's certainly a lot to enjoy. And today I'd like to count down my top 11 movies from 2022. Now, originally I wanted to make a big video ranking all the movies I saw this year, but that's a lot of work, and I tend to stay on the positive side of things. Also, I can't guarantee that this is a spoiler-free ranking, so you should be warned. Also, this video is all my opinion, so I'm sorry if your favorite movies don't make it in. Anyway, let's get started. So one day, my history teacher was talking about how there was a new movie based on All Quiet on the Western Front released on Netflix, and how it was really good. From that, I decided I wanted to watch it, and yeah, it was great. I'll admit it took a bit for me to get into it, as it is a bit slow, but then the emotions of the characters started to hit as they encountered increasingly terrifying scenarios. Through the use of gray clouds and cold atmospheres throughout, as well as the incredible makeup and special effects to create horrifying injuries, really pushed the horrors of war. And the cinematography was so good, even reminding me of Lord of the Rings. Sure, really only Paul and Kat stuck out in terms of characters, and the score played the same boom track literally anytime something dramatic happened, but the filmmaking really made it all worth it. Don't know how much I'll be revisiting this one, but if you enjoy history or war movies, then give this one a watch. Aw yeah, the Bob's Burgers movie! I already made a video about why I love this movie, so check that out for more in-depth thoughts, but something I somehow failed to mention in that original video is that this movie is really funny. It's full of small quip-type jokes and funny expressions that may not make you laugh out loud, but will give you plenty of little chuckles. On top of that, it has great animation, good characters, amazing songs, and feels like the perfect adaptation of a cartoon to a movie. I can't wait for the Oscars to completely ignore it. Hopefully I'm wrong, but we all know how they feel about animation.
A donut hole in a donut's hole.
The first scene of Benoit Blanc in Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery, is him in the bath playing Among Us. That alone should tell you that this movie is a good time. Just like in the first, it gives us a cast of entertaining characters, each with their own fleshed out backstories and an engaging setting. While Benoit wasn't really a standout character in the first one for me, here I came to really like his personality, especially with how he's the main character for the first half of the movie, until they take you back to show who invited him and uncover the mysteries present on the island. The whole plot interweaves its twists and turns in a really clever way that makes this the perfect film to rewatch and see all of the small clues scattered throughout the movie to show the true mystery. And the finale is so satisfying after all the manipulation that these characters went through. I think I may have slightly preferred the original, but this one was still just a great time.
No!
After first watching Jordan Peele's Nope, I recognized that it was a good movie, but I wasn't quite sure how I could describe why. But the more I think about it, the more I unravel what makes it great. It takes a simple plot concepts I like, with 2 characters trying to save their family's horse farm, throws in supernatural elements and a couple scary moments, a unique alien, and enjoyable characters. I loved OJ's quiet demeanor and how he's done with all the craziness around him, the tech support guy for bringing a bit of lightheartedness, Jupe Park's love of spectacle, and the scientist guy who comes in to help them take a picture of the alien. And scenes like the blood rain, the alien eating people, and especially Gordy's rampage are great sequences to unsettle the audience. I also really like the setting of this middle-of-nowhere horse farm and tourist trap. The slow pace also works really well to build up the alien and give the whole thing a unique experience. There's so much more to dig into this movie with its messages and themes, and I can't wait to do so on rewatches.
It's your favorite fearless.
Coming in right at the end of the year and being the most recent movie on this list that I've seen is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. This movie has the best animation I've seen in a while, with the art style making it look like paintings at some point. If this is the way DreamWorks is going with their visuals, then I can't wait. And this movie is also really funny in a lot of ways I wasn't expecting, such as mild swears and dark humor. But there's also a tremendous amount of heart, as Puss's motivations really hit hard with him feeling inadequate to keep up adventuring and having to grapple with the fact that he's not as fearless as he thought. The same heart goes for many of the other characters too, who are entertaining in the ways they bounce off of each other, such as Puss's interactions with Perito and Kitty. The villains in particular are great, whether it's Goldie and the Bears being a family of bounty hunters, Jack Horner horrifying Jiminy Cricket with his immorality, and Death being really intimidating to Puss on a personal level, and just a really, really cool guy in general. Also, some of the fight scenes in this movie are on the same level as Kung Fu Panda, and I liked how there were a few Shrek Easter eggs. I had a grin on my face through the entire runtime, and I can't wait to watch it again. Most MCU projects released in 2022 were disappointing. While I liked Multiverse of Madness, it definitely could have been better. Thor Love and Thunder tried to be both a serious epic with cancer and failure of gods and a goofball comedy, and I straight up stopped watching the TV shows this year. If you ask me, Black Panther Wakanda Forever came at just the right time. This movie, much like the first, tells a smaller story with themes of loss and fear of other nations. It expanded the world of Wakanda and introduced us to Talokan, a cool new location, and Namor, one of my new favorite characters from Phase 4. I love his motivations for attacking the surface world and how he's a bit of a wild card with immense power. I can't wait to see more of him. I feel like this movie answered every issue I was having with it as I watched. I was wondering why M'Baku wasn't too involved, and then he became integral to the plot. I was wondering when Shuri would become Black Panther, and she did in a really cool way that fits her character. This movie is on the same level as its predecessor, with great action, world building, culture, and uniqueness from any other superhero film, as well as being an amazing tribute to Chadwick Boseman. And this has the most tear-jerking post-credit scene in the MCU, period. So, if you couldn't tell by my voice, I am very American and tend to watch mainly Hollywood movies. However, thanks to RRR, or Rise Roar Revolt, or as I call it, Triple R, I was able to experience Tollywood for the first time. This film tells the fictionalized story of two Indian freedom fighters during an undocumented period in their lives, how they formed a friendship and began to fight off the oppressive British Raj. As soon as they meet, you can instantly buy their friendship as two people wanting to do good. They are so happy and wholesome, and it breaks your heart to see them be torn apart with them having to fight since one of them is undercover working for the British. But in the end, they save each other and go on to continue their adventures. The film is packed with fun, drama, excellent fight scenes, wonderful music, pain, and brotherly love. I feel like most other people that have seen this film would place it higher in their ranking, but for me, at times, it felt like they were pushing several movies into one, leading to conflicting tones that just didn't work out 100% at the time. Also, I feel like some parts were a bit overdramatic, especially while I was reading the subtitles and seeing how many lines of dialogue and lyrics of songs are a bit silly. And since it is based off of real people, I wasn't too big a fan of how they essentially became superheroes at the end. But still, the first act's fun bro movie charm, followed with the betrayals and reveals, emotional gut punches, phenomenal soundtrack, and amazingly charismatic leads, make this 3-hour epic about brotherly love a film that everyone should check out. It's on Netflix right now. Go watch it. You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. This year, I finally had the pleasure of watching the original Top Gun. I liked it for being a movie of friends being friends, but came to love it when Maverick had to endure the trauma of losing his best friend Goose in a freak accident. Now, in 2022, 36 years after the original, we see the continuation in Top Gun Maverick. Tom Cruise is just as good as he's ever been, and this movie does callbacks right, with Maverick still bearing the weight of Goose's death, him visiting Iceman at the right time, and the fact that Goose's son Rooster has so many similarities to him. It keeps the fun friends being friends stuff with the new cadets being just as entertaining as the first ones. And this movie feels like it has more of an end goal with the team going on an actual mission and Rooster and Maverick being stranded. But the best part of the movie is literally every part where they're in the planes. The fact that they actually flew the actors up in the cockpits of real Navy planes is incredible, and really adds to the high-speed action. The fight scenes will always have you on the edge of your seat. Any studio trying to bring back a nostalgic franchise, take notes. This is how you do it. With both titans of superhero movies trying to create fun, high-energy blockbusters, it's always nice to see DC go back to what made their past movies incredible. We saw this in 2019 with Joker, and again this year with The Batman. This movie, like All Quiet on the Western Front, is a bit of a slow burner, but for the most part, it works. The slower pace than other modern superhero movies, combined with the dark and dingy atmospheres and making Batman a detective again, remind me of Batman the Animated Series. And if you've visited my channel before, I think you know how I feel about the DCAU. This movie gives us a unique look at an early Batman who is still brutal and figuring out what he will do. It has perhaps my favorite on screen portrayal of Commissioner Gordon, and versions of Catwoman and Penguin that are more accurate to their original characters than Batman Returns. The smaller scale fight scenes throughout and that amazing car chase scene make the action stand out from other comic book movies, and the fact that this movie leaves the door open for sequels and the director wants to stay away from the DC cinematic universe make me have much more hope for DC movies than I have had in a while.
Insert Steven Spielberg sound here.
The Fablemans embodies what it is to make art. From the very first scenes with Sammy trying to recreate the train crash to every instance of him taking his friends to create fun movies for Boy Scouts. The way he talks to his actor about what emotions to have in a scene and how both of them get choked up showed just how much a small moment can be so big when creating your vision. And his personal struggles with probably my most hated bully characters in a long time. Him realizing his mother's eyes drifting from his father doubting his filmmaking, how his uncle tells him to press on. It's all immaculate. The story is just as much about the family as it is Spielberg's self insert, and the feelings are so raw and awkward, as you expect from a wife falling in love with her husband's best friend. And when they move to a new school, the bullies are integrated so well, as confrontation with Logan after the Ditch Day film is shown is so moving. The guy saw a film portraying him as a great person by the person he bullied the most, and was moved to tears with regret. This is the power of film. To make you feel and experience emotions you may not have otherwise. And that ending! I was ready for the film to keep going for more hours, but it really ended at a perfect point in his career for it to be satisfying. But it could have kept going for another 2.5 hours, and I still would have been invested. This movie spoke to me so much, and I'll definitely be calling it my favorite Spielberg film. And yet, there's still one movie I saw that was even better. Where do I even begin with Everything Everywhere All at Once? This movie tells its story of generational trauma in the smallest and largest way possible at the same time, in a very compelling and emotional way. It uses the concept of an infinite multiverse to its fullest potential, with everything from Ratatouille parodies to sausage fingers to living rocks with googly eyes. The characters are so compelling, whether it's Evelyn trapped in a mediocre and mundane life, tired of the people around her, or her husband Wayman not fully understanding what is going on but pleading with people to accept each other and get along during the third act. Or Joy in every universe wanting so badly to be accepted by her mother. Or James Hong's character, just for the fact that he was played by James Hong. The cast of all of them was incredible, and the story they tell is so beautiful. The action sequences are dynamic and gripping, and the rules of the multiverse are easy to follow. My favorite part of the film, however, was the editing and the visuals. There are so many awesome cuts and flashes showing all of Evelyn's possible lives that are amazing and make me want to become a better editor myself. This was the only film this year that left me completely silent and flabbergasted, partly because the film just breaks your brain, but partly because it was such an amazing cinematic achievement that I have to call it the best movie of 2022. And those are my top 11 films of 2022. If you want to see my full ranking of the movies I've seen from this year, plus any updates, I have a list up on my Letterboxd page for you to check out. In the meantime, here's to 2023's movies and what they'll have in store. As for me, look out for more DC videos, more movie reviews, and hopefully some videos in preparation for the upcoming Percy Jackson Disney Plus series. Subscribe if you feel like it, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.